Morning, children.
Good morning, ma'am.
We completed the kingdom Protista in the previous class. Am I right? We completed, no? Now we need to start with which kingdom? Which kingdom is next after Protista? Fungi. And under Protista, we learned about different classes. Which are the different classes of kingdom Protista? Alentina, what are the different classes that we discussed?
Chrysophytes, dinoflagellates, slime molds, protozoans, and
Euglenoids.
euglenoids.
And under protozoans, we learned different groups, 4 major groups. Which are those 4 major groups, Sarah?
Aminoid,
Amoeboid,
amoeboid, flagella, then
Sporozoans. I know spellings are a bit difficult, but you have to take effort to learn all that, okay? Amoeboid protozoans, ciliated protozoans, flagellated protozoans, and sporozoans. What is special about sporozoans, Devi? Why do you call them as sporozoans? Yes, Devi Krishna. Why
Ma'am, they have
yes.
They have infectious spore-like stages in their body.
Okay, good. Then some unique features of ciliated protozoans. Emmeline, any 2 features you can say. Any 2 unique features.
They have gullets which opens outside to. They have gullets.
What is gullet? What is its role?
The food particles from the water come inside to the mouth and then to gullets.
That is the second point. They have what? Carry out nutrition as well as.
They have cavity. Their cavity called gullets.
It is not that. You said the food particles will be directed towards the gullet. What helps in carrying these food particles? Which structures will assist to perform the function, Emmeline? Which structures? As the name suggests, what is the name of this group?
Ciliated protozoans.
What are the structures that help in doing it?
Cilias.
Cilia. Not cilias. Cilium is singular, cilia is plural. Okay. Now we'll continue with kingdom fungi. Children, you turn your videos on. I'll wait. Only when you have turned on, I'll proceed. Ardra, Basma, Tushar, Eva, Elaine, Hasif. Quickly, any connectivity issues, you can message me. Mute your microphone, children. It's a unique kingdom consisting of heterotrophic organisms. You know about heterotrophic mode of nutrition. Here, organisms depend upon other organisms for their food. So, it's a unique kingdom comprising of heterotrophic organisms. They are cosmopolitan and they occur in water, air, soil, and on plants and animals. You can find them in diverse habitats. Everywhere you can find them. Air, water, soil, animals, plants, etc. And they prefer warm and humid regions. So they will thrive well. They can multiply. They can survive better in warm and humid places. Some of the examples are bread mold, orange rots. Orange rot is actually a disease. The fungi which is causing orange rots. Then mushroom, toadstools. Toadstools, they have a rounded cap and a stalk. And usually toadstools are considered to be non-edible and poisonous. And many of the mushroom species we can eat, edible. So bread mold, orange rods, mushroom, toadstools, orange rod fungi. Okay, then it actually, orange rods actually belongs to the genus Alternia, Alterni. You don't have to learn. Alternia citri is the scientific name. It causes orange rods. I think it is mentioned in your textbook as orange rods. It's a fungi which cause orange rods, bread mold, mushroom, toadstools, orange rod fungi. It's a unique kingdom. I'm repeating the points again. It comprises of heterotrophic organisms and they are found in diverse habitats, air, water, soil, and on plants and animals. And they can survive better in warm and humid climatic conditions. And some of them lead a parasitic life. For example, the white spores which appear on mustard leaves, it is due to a parasitic fungus. So here you can see some of the pictures, the white spores on the mustard leaves also you can find, and bread mold also is given in the picture. Okay, some of them lead a parasitic life and you can find them in warm and humid places. Generally, in all the habitats you can see them, and examples are also given, and some of them lead a parasitic life. So here you can see a few more examples for fungi. Penicillium. What is the significance of penicillium? Where have you learned about penicillium? Penicillium notatum. It's very important. It has got a significant role. Who can say? Where have you heard about penicillium? Something very important has been produced from these fungi. A life-saving drug. The first antibiotic. Which is the first antibiotic? Penicillin. Penicillin is produced from penicillium. Then yeast. Any uses of yeast you can say?
Fermenting.
Yes?
Fermenting.
Atulya, your voice is not clear. Day-to-day life also yeast is being used.
Fermenting.
It helps in fermentation, and this is being used in the preparation of cakes. Then what else? Appam. If it is at home, we use it for making appam and other different preparations. Wine. Then in baking industry, it is being used for producing different beverages. It is being used. So it's having so much of significance. And Puccinia. Puccinia is a fungus which causes diseases. Some fungi. Yes?
Can you show the last slide?
Wait. Some fungi are the source of antibiotics. For example, penicillium. They help in the production of, many of them help in the production of antibiotics. One main example is Penicillium notatum, from this particular fungus, penicillin, the first antibiotic was produced. Some unicellular fungi like yeast are used to make bread and beer. Other fungi cause diseases in plants and animals. For example, wheat rust. Rust disease in wheat is caused by Puccinia. So from this we can understand that some of them are useful to us, and at the same time some are harmful. So two eminent uses. They are helping the production of antibiotics. They can be used in the production of beverages and also in the production of bread, cakes. In the baking industry, it is being widely used because they can bring about fermentation. Even at home also, we make use of yeast in preparing wine, appam, etc. And some of them, they cause diseases in plants and animals. One example is Puccinia, which causes rust in wheat. The previous slide I'll show you now. Wait a minute. not able to go back to the first one. See, if you have any confusion or if you want to see a particular slide again, immediately you may ask before I change it, because once it is changed, it is difficult and we lose time. So this was the first slide that I showed you. Before I change the slide, you can tell me. We learned about kingdom fungi comprising of heterotrophic organisms, and we learned that they are found in diverse habitats and mostly they are seen in warm and humid climatic conditions. Some of them lead a parasitic life. Okay, shall I change?
Yes, ma'am.
This okay, no? Second slide, anybody wants to?
Ma'am, yes, ma'am, yes, ma'am.
Okay. The different examples of fungi are given here. Penicillium and yeast, both of them are useful, whereas Puccinia is a harmful fungus. It can cause diseases. It causes wheat rust in wheat plants. And many fungi are there which cause diseases, and many of them are useful to us. So I'm proceeding to the next slide. Except yeast. Yeast is unicellular, you know. And all the other fungi, they are filamentous. Filamentous means the body consists of thread-like structures. So it's made up of thread-like structures. Fungi are having filamentous structure. The body consists of long, slender, thread-like structures. As you can see in the figure, it is having some thread-like structures. So these are those thread-like structures. Filamentous structure made up of long, thread-like, slender structures, and you call it as a hypha, plural is hyphae. And when these thread-like structures or when hyphae form a network, that entire network you call it as mycelium. Okay? So its body consists of filamentous, or they are filamentous in structure. That means their body is made up of long, thread-like structures, narrow or slender thread-like structures, which you call as hyphae. A network of hyphae, when several hyphae join together, when they are connected together, you call it as a mycelium. Some hyphae, they are continuous tubes filled with multinucleated cytoplasm. Then you call it as cenocytic hyphae. Cenocytic means multinucleated. See in the second figure, B is cenocytic hypha. Here you cannot find any separation between, or in between you are not finding any separation. The tube is continuous. The tubes are continuous and several nuclei are present in it. When several nuclei are present, you call it as multinucleated hyphae. And on the other hand, in the figure on the left hand side, you can find, see here there is a division, a separation. Here another separation. Here also you can find. So separations are there, and in each you can find a single nucleus. In each septa. Septa means some partition, some cross walls. That is septa. Septae plural. So septum. Okay. Septum or septae you can find. These are cross walls which will separate these tubes into different compartments. So within each you can see a nucleus. Whereas in cenocytic hyphae, no such cross walls or no such septae are present, and there will be several nuclei within these tubes. So it becomes multinucleated and you call it as cenocytic hyphae. Whereas in septate hypha, you can find septum or crow's walls, and within each you can find only one nucleus. Some hyphae are continuous, filled with multinucleated cytoplasm, then you call it as cenocytic hyphae. Whereas others have septae or crow's walls in the hyphae. And within each compartment, there will be only one nucleus. Fungal cell wall is made of chitin and polysaccharides. And you had already learned, just like in plant cells, they too have cell walls. But the composition is different. In plant cell wall or in plants, cell wall is made of cellulose, whereas in fungus, the cell wall is made of a sugar known as chitin and also polysaccharides. Other polysaccharides are also present. Clear? Chitin and polysaccharides, they form the fungal cell wall. Once again, quickly I will repeat the points. Fungi, the body is filamentous. Filamentous means it is having or it consists of thread-like structures. And these thread-like structures which make up their body, you call it as hyphae. And when they form a network, you call it as mycelium. And sometimes this mycelium comprises of cenocytic hyphae, and certain other times it can be septate hyphae. In cenocytic hyphae, no septae are present or no crow's walls are present, and they will be multinucleated. Several nuclei will be present as these tubes are continuous. Whereas in certain other type of hyphae, there will be crow's walls in between and the nucleus will be limited to one. And then we learned about fungal cell wall. Unlike the cell wall in plants, which is made of cellulose, here it is made of chitin and polysaccharides. Okay, it has got a chitinous cell wall. Along with chitin, certain polysaccharides also will be present in the cell wall. Shall I change? Can I? Yes or no?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And coming to their mode of nutrition, as you know, they are saprophytic. They feed on dead and decaying matter. They absorb soluble organic matter from dead substrates. From dead and decaying organic matter, they derive their nutrition, and such a mode of nutrition is known as saprophytic mode of nutrition. As I already told you, some of them can lead a parasitic life. We learned about the spores present on mustard leaves. It is due to a fungus, a parasitic fungus. Those spores are due to parasitic fungus, which from that we can understand some of them are leading a parasitic life. So a saprophytic mode of nutrition, even parasitic mode of nutrition is also found. And certain other fungi, they lead a symbiotic life, or you can say they show symbiotic association. Or they act as symbionts, means they live in. Symbiosis means it's a mutual association where two organisms live together and they will share their shelter and nutrients. That is known as a symbiotic relationship or symbiosis. So some of them, they live as symbionts. They live in symbiotic association between other organisms. Two typical examples, lichens and mycorrhiza. Lichen is a symbiotic association of fungi and algae. Fungi and algae, when they live in a mutual association, you call it as lichens. You will learn more about lichens in this chapter. And then some of them, they live inside the roots of higher plants. That association, that symbiotic association is known as mycorrhiza. Mycorrhiza is a symbiotic association of fungi with the roots of higher plants. Both are mutually benefited. You will learn more about these two associations later in this chapter. Once again, we discussed about the modes of nutrition. So you can find different modes of nutrition. Some of them lead a saprophytic life, whereas some others are parasitic. They live inside a host body and take nutrients from them. And certain other groups of fungi, they lead a symbiotic, or they act as, or they live as symbionts. They live in symbiotic association. Two examples, lichens, where algae and fungi live in symbiotic association. And the second example is mycorrhiza. Here the fungi live in symbiotic association with certain plants. They live inside the roots of higher plants, and both the plants as well as the fungi, they are benefited. Mutual benefit will be there. Details you will learn later. Now moving on to the methods of reproduction. They carry out different modes of reproduction. So let's see them one by one. Vegetative propagation, that also comes under asexual methods of reproduction. Asexual reproduction, because they can produce certain spores and carry out asexual reproduction. So we'll categorize it under three headings. Vegetative propagation, that is also a type of asexual reproduction. Then sexual and asexual reproduction. Vegetative propagation are of three types: fragmentation, fission and budding. Once again, they carry out different modes of reproduction: vegetative propagation, then asexual reproduction and sexual reproduction. Asexual reproduction is by producing asexual spores, and sexual reproduction by producing sexual spores, which you will learn later. And vegetative propagation can be further categorized, or they exhibit three modes of vegetative propagation: fragmentation, fission and budding. Hope you know what do we mean by these fragmentation, fission and budding. In fragmentation, the filaments of these fungi will break into small parts, and from each part a new organism can be formed. Fission is by splitting, by dividing into two. Then budding also, you know, as in the case of yeast, they can form buds. Sometimes a chain of buds will be produced, and later each one will get separated and form new individuals. Modes of reproduction, once again, they carry out vegetative propagation and also sexual and asexual methods of reproduction. And vegetative propagation can be carried out with the help of fragmentation or budding or fission. Three methods of vegetative propagation are being carried out by fungi. Okay, shall I proceed? No answer? Can I? Okay. Or shall we have a recap and then proceed? What did we learn? Quickly summarize. Children, I have told you not to turn the videos off in between. Not to. Elaine and Anjana, I understood some connectivity issues are there, but others do turn it on. And Abhinav, you may start. What did we learn today?
Kingdom fungi. It is a unique kingdom of heterotrophic organisms.
Okay, Meryl, next point.
Fungi are cosmopolitan. They occur in air, water, and the bodies of animals and plants.
In them in diverse habitats. Then Anila, all be ready with one point, okay, so that we won't waste time.
Fungi are used to make bread and beer.
It is used for making bread and beer. Then another point, Malavika.
They prefer to grow in warm and humid climates.
Okay, they prefer to, no problem. One of the Malavikas can say. Yes, Malavika, Pradil, what did you say?
They prefer to grow in warm and humid climates.
They prefer to grow in warm and humid climatic condition. Malavika, Vipin?
Some are parasites.
Some lead a parasitic life. Then Samina, another point.
Ma'am, they are used to make antibiotics.
They are manufacturing antibiotics. Can you name one antibiotic produced from fungi?
Penicillium.
Penicillium is the fungus. What is the name of the antibiotic?
Penicillin.
Penicillin. Okay. Another point. Basma, where are you? Devika, Girish.
Yes, ma'am. White spots are observed on mustard leaves. White spots are observed on mustard leaves, and this is due to the
Static light. Great. Then Basma, next point.
Other fungi causes diseases in plants and animals.
Many can cause diseases in plants and animals. By the way, by the videos of Agna, another point.
Most of fungi are spirophytes.
Once again.
Most of fungi are saprophytes.
We discussed that. Your friends said that point. Now tell me about modes of nutrition. Other than saprophytic mode. Other modes of nutrition. Abhinav said no, first point, they are heterotrophic. So they can carry out saprophytic mode of nutrition. Only saprophytic mode of nutrition, Agna? Lakshmi, what are the other modes of nutrition?
Some are parasitic.
Louder.
Some are parasite.
They lead a parasitic life. Only that we said?
Some are...
Some they live as? They live in symbiotic association. Examples? Eva?
Examples for symbiotic is lichens and mycorrhiza.
And also?
Mycorrhiza.
Mycorrhiza. So those are two examples for the symbiotic association of fungi with other organisms. Lichen is the symbiotic association between algae and fungi, and mycorrhiza between fungi and the roots of higher plants. Then about the modes of reproduction. Adulya, what are the different modes of reproduction?
Vegetative propagation, sexual and asexual.
What are the three types of or three modes of vegetative propagation that they carry out? Analysts?
Yes, ma'am. Fragmentation, fission, and budding.
Very good. So we'll continue. Asexual reproduction is by means of certain spores. Both sexual and asexual spores are produced by fungi, and asexual reproduction is carried out with the help of spores. Examples: conidia, sporangiospores, and zoospores. You should not get confused between the names of sexual and asexual spores. Asexual spores include conidia, sporangiospores, and zoospores, whereas sexual reproduction is carried out with the help of oospores, ascospores, and basidiospores. And these spores are produced in some specialized structures which you call as fruiting bodies. Sexual spores are produced in certain distinct structures which you call as fruiting bodies. The different spores include oospores, ascospores, and basidiospores. Whereas asexual spores are conidia, sporangiospores, and zoospores. You should not get confused between sexual and asexual spores. Sexual spores will help in carrying out sexual mode of reproduction, whereas as the name suggests, asexual spores will lead to asexual method of that help in carrying out asexual method of reproduction. Once again, the names of spores: conidia, sporangiospores, zoospores. These are the different asexual spores produced by fungi. Whereas the sexual spores which are produced on fruiting bodies include oospores, ascospores, basidiospores. Okay? Shall I continue? Learn the names now. Conidia, Sporangiospores and zoospores. All these are not produced by the same fungi. So different fungi, different groups of fungi, they produce different types of spores. Sometimes they produce more than one type. Sexual reproduction is by means of ascospores, basidiospores, and also oospores. Whereas conidia, then sporangiospores and zoospores are asexual spores. So let's start with reproduction. First we will learn about sexual method of reproduction. There are three main stages involved in sexual reproduction. Three main steps are there. To begin with, the first step is plasmogamy. Here the protoplasm of two gametes. Gametes can be motile or non-motile. Means gametes, some gametes will be capable of movement, they may not be able to move. So depending upon the type, there can be differences in the motility of the gametes. They might have the capability to move or not. Okay, whatever it is, whether it is motile or non-motile gametes, the first step is the fusion of protoplasm. What is the definition for protoplasm? What is meant by protoplasm? Anybody? Jyoti, what is protoplasm? You might have heard your brother reading it, reading 8th standard textbook. Jyoti, can you say?
I
Don't know. Who can say?
Ma'am, cytoplasm and nucleus together called protoplasm.
Who told the answer?
Ma'am, Samia.
Very good. It is cytoplasm along with the nucleus. The end-day living content of the cell is known as protoplasm. So protoplasm of two gametes, motile and non-motile gametes, will fuse. That is the first step. Second step, karyogamy. So once the protoplasm has fused, it will lead to the fusion of nuclei present in them. So the nuclei, the fusion of the nuclei, we call it as karyogamy. Karyon means nucleus. Gamy means fusion. So here karyogamy, second step is karyogamy, where the nuclei of these two different gametes will get fused. Now finally, meiosis will take place, where this is happening in zygote. How is zygote formed? By the fusion of both protoplasm and nucleus. So when plasmogamy and karyogamy is completed, it forms a zygote. Within the zygote, meiotic division will take place and produces haploid spores. Do you know what is meant by haploid, diploid? Anybody? What do you mean by haploid and diploid? It indicates what?
It's not paired.
Yes, it shows the chromosomes present. Haploid and diploid are the terms to indicate the number of chromosomes. Haploid means we represent it with small letter n. That means unpaired chromosomes. Chromosomes are in the unpaired condition. Diploid means the chromosomes will be in the paired condition, 2n. We represent it as 2n. Diploid is 2n, haploid is en. 2n is diploid and n indicates haploid condition. Children, can you tell me in human body, where is this haploid number of chromosomes found? Haploid number of chromosomes are found in which cells in human body?
6 chromosomes.
That is chromosome, no? Haploid and diploid indicates a number of chromosomes. 6 chromosomes are found in each and every cell, no? 46
reproductive cells?
Yes, or the gametes. In the gametes you can find haploid number. It is because only if the gametes are having haploid number of chromosomes, when they fuse during fertilization, they can restore the normal chromosome number. In human body, all our cells are having 46 chromosomes or 23 pairs. But in the gametes, in sperms and ova, it will be just 23. So when sperm fuses with ova, 23 plus 23, 46 chromosomes can be restored. Okay, N is haploid, 2N is diploid. So meiotic division will take place in the zygote, resulting in the formation of haploid spores. So once again, the sexual phase in fungi involves 3 steps: plasmogamy, karyogamy, and meiotic division. Plasmogamy is a fusion of protoplasm of 2 motile or non-motile gametes. Gametes can be either motile or non-motile, capable of movement or not capable of movement. And then the next step is a fusion of these 2 nuclei. And once the nuclei are fused, it will result in the formation of a zygote. And within the zygote, reduction division or meiotic division will take place, which leads to the production of haploid spores. Okay? Zygote is diploid because it is formed by the fusion of 2 gametes. But this diploid zygote will undergo meiotic division and result in the production of haploid spores. Children, hope you know that mitosis means equational division. If mitosis is taking place, the chromosome number will not change. A cell is undergoing division. For example, 46 chromosome. When mitosis is taking place, this also the cells formed, the daughter cells formed will have 46, same number of chromosomes. We call it as equational division. No change in the chromosome number. The chromosome number of the mother cell and daughter cell will remain the same. Whereas in meiotic division, if a cell with 46 chromosomes is undergoing division, the 2 daughter cells formed will have only 23 chromosomes each. You call it as reductional division. One is equational division, which means the chromosome number of the mother cell and the daughter cells formed will have the same number of chromosomes. Whereas in reductional division or meiotic division, the chromosome number will be reduced to half. Okay, and meiosis is reductional division. So zygote is diploid, but the spores formed will be haploid. Okay, any doubt? We learned about the 3 steps involved in sexual reproduction of fungi. Which are those 3 steps, Nimida? Just the names, only names.
Plasmogamy, meiosis, and then...
Yeah, in order you say. Plasmogamy. I told karyon is nucleus. So plasmogamy is followed. Karyogamy, which will be followed by meiotic division. What happens in plasmogamy? Zahan, what happens in plasmogamy?
Ma'am, I had internet problems. I just joined now. Really, ma'am.
Unless she got a chance already. Buddha, what is plasmogamy?
Fusion of...
Don't read.
Protoplasm between 2 motile or non-motile gametes.
Plasmogamy. I said gamy is fusion and protoplasm of 2 motile or non-motile gametes are getting fused during this process. This will be followed by, Sabri, what is the next step?
Karyogamy.
What happens there?
Fusion of nuclei.
Fusion of these, the 2 nuclei of these gametes. Then this will result in the formation of zygote, and this zygote, what change will happen in zygote, Gaya?
Resulting in haploid spore.
It undergoes?
It results in the haploid.
How? How haploid spores are formed from diploid zygote? Which process will take place? Which division, children? Mitosis or meiosis? Meiosis. Meiotic division will take place. E is silent in meiosis. Okay, meiotic and meiotic and mitosis. Mitosis, meiosis, meiotic division and mitotic division. Mitotic division is equational division, whereas meiotic division is reductional division. Chromosome number will get reduced. And Zahan, seminar we can have next period. Okay?
Okay.
Be present, check your connectivity, and we'll have it. We'll begin with your seminar next period, and after that I will continue. Any doubts, children? Any doubts? Any slide would you like to see? No. Okay. Only one is absent. Who is that? I think 41 students are there for bio. I can see 41 including me. So one is missing. Alina Jason is there? Alina Jason? Alina Varghese? Alina Varghese is there in the group? Yes. I think only Alina Jason is absent. All others are present.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Ma'am, can you show the slide of kingdom fungi, that first slide?
This one? Analyst, is this the one?
Ma'am, kingdom fungi.
This one, no?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Quickly note it down.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So we'll wind up. Thank you, children. We'll see next period.
Thank you, ma'am.